Israel. You've just seen a video fragment about Palestine and the city of Bethlehem. Bethlehem has the Russian Orthodox Church of the Nativity of Christ. Bethlehem is located in Palestine and is just 20 minutes drive from Jerusalem. They like Russians in Palestine, but it's a no-go area for Jews. Palestine is an area inhabited by Arabic Christians and also by Arabic Muslims. When setting off from Jerusalem, don't forget your passport and visa card, and there can be document checks on the border. Now this is the Dead Sea, a very interesting place. There's a lot to know about the beneficial properties of the water, and I'll give you the full information later, because now I want to start to describe Israel itself and my first impressions. Here's the Jerusalem Crown Plaza Hotel, where I stayed. I bought my excursions in Moscow, and they collected me from my hotel and returned me there at the end. Excursions averagely cost between $50 and $70, which is the price to join a group excursion. Of course, you can also have a private excursion, which can be booked in the hotel, and the price is around $600 per day. However, I met people who claimed they'd organized private excursions for just $200 per day. There's also another option, and it's one I tried myself. To get to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, you can simply book a taxi to take you there. It's completely safe because the taxi driver works at the hotel. He can take you to the church, park his taxi nearby, and even drive you through the old Muslim quarter on the way to the church. I visited the church before on an excursion, but I somehow couldn't appreciate the full atmosphere of the place. During a group excursion, people are always chatting and joking. Probably that could be fine, but not for visiting a sacred place. The taxi from my 5-star hotel, including taking me there and back, cost $200 for the 2-hour trip. There are 2 parts to Jerusalem, the old city and the new part. Now let's go to the church through the new part, a modern district. It explains where the new part begins and the old part ends. This is how I went through Old Jerusalem to the Church of the Sepulchre, which is the name of the church built at the site of Christ's grave on an excursion. On the way to the church, we passed the famous Wailing Wall. It's unusual in that both Christians and Muslims pray at the wall. Many worshippers of different creeds and faiths come here to pray. It's a place with its own very intense atmosphere. The faithful bring their special prayers on pieces of paper, which they wedge into chinks in the wall itself, or they might bring the pleas of their family and friends here in the same way. It's just over 500 meters from the Wailing Wall to the Church of the Sepulchre. You can buy these special prayer candles along the way. They cost between $7 and $15. You can light them and dedicate them in the Church of the Sepulchre. They have to be lit from the blessed flame. The flame burns in this church all year round, from one Easter to the next. Candles, crosses, the headscarves can be laid on the anointing table in the temple. This is a sacred stone, so all objects placed upon it become sanctified. Let's make a brief mention of these red woolen wristbands, which people wear around their left wrist. Celebrities in the USA also wear such wristbands, for example, Madonna. The wristbands acknowledge the teachings of the Kabbalah. They are fastened in 7 knots and are read as a prayer. They are blessed in Jerusalem at the tomb of Rachel. If you are a Christian believer, you're not allowed to wear these wristbands. As an alternative, you can get a bracelet with the image of the cross and have it blessed. It would make a wonderful gift for your close friends. Remember that Jerusalem is a cosmopolitan metropolis, where you could just as easily see an Ashkenazi Orthodox Jew in the street with a long beard and traditional hat, as you could see Hindus in traditional costume. Or there are visiting groups of Baptist worshippers from the Philippines. Israel is a world religious center. Many people here speak Russian too, even if only just a smattering. Some people wonder about walking around on their own. I walked on my own, but only up to 6 in the evening. This was during February. For girls, it's best to walk near the hotel and along the main avenue. After all, this is Israel. Jerusalem isn't a place for low prices. People who are looking for a place to have fun rarely have Jerusalem on their itineraries. All the main entertainment options are actually in Tel Aviv, from where you could come to Jerusalem on an excursion if you wish to. When it comes to prices, a meal in an upscale restaurant will set you back between 200 and 350 shekels, which is around 70 to 115 US. But a regular lunch, not in a vegetarian cafe, goes for between $15 to $20, including a meat-based main course, a salad, and a drink. In my hotel, they keep kosher, a phrase meaning that all the correct principles of Jewish kosher food preparation are not only observed, but verified by the Beth Din, the kosher regulatory body. Nor does the hotel allow you to bring your own food or drinks into the building. Not all hotels are so strict about this. Things can be different elsewhere. The story goes that on arrival in Israel, the passport control staff put an arrival stamp in your passport, which makes it impossible for you to enter Arabic countries later. However, this practice has now been changed. On arrival, they give you a separate bar-coded paper slip which includes your photo. No stamp is now placed in your passport. You need to keep the arrival card with you all the time, especially if you travel to Bethlehem, since that city is in Palestine, with its own border controls, where you can be asked to produce the card. Bethlehem is the location of the Church of the Sepulchre, which many people want to visit. If we start to talk about the national mindset in Israel, we can say that they love to see blonde girls. Local girls mostly start thinking about marriage when they're over 35, and they follow up any potential inquiries about marriage plans with questions like, where do you work? What kind of car do you have? What's your salary? And other direct questions. Local men also get involved in such questions, and this may be why they start looking for their partner for life amongst female tourists. Prenuptial marriage agreements are very normal in Israel and almost always come out in favor of the wife. Men don't slip out of a marriage so easily in Israel. Now, here is the Church of the Sepulchre. We'll hear more about it in the next video section.